Well, welcome back to the Grottu Orloff program. It is December 15th, 2020. Up here in the comic book room. Is this the comic book room? No, the comic book room's back here. This is the room where I organize the comics, and I'm starting to bring more in, and thus the boxes are getting up higher here. And I'm doing something I've started a project. Some of you may be new. I got a bunch of new subscribers yesterday, and then last night, overnight, I lost 5 subscribers. So I guess people thought, wow, this might be kind of neat. And then they watched a few minutes of the video, and they decided, this guy is terrible. He's horrible. I don't know. I don't know who's watching. I don't really know who subscribes, except for those of you that comment down below in the comment section. I was telling you that you can blow up things at Kinko's or FedEx or whatever they call themselves these days, but this was a little tiny promotional postcard about this big that was sent out in the 60s by ABC, and I blew it up to this big poster size. And I used to have this hanging in my classroom, and this was just a little card. This Morticia was just a little card in the Addams Family board game, and I blew it up to giant size. So, little cheap ways to decorate your home. Yesterday I put 3 episodes up, and I don't know. I think that's too many for one day, because when people start unsubscribing en masse, I kind of feel like I've been robbed. Don't like Donald Trump. I was up so high. I got up to 129 subscribers. Now I'm down to 123. Oh well. If someone thinks I'm horrible, it's probably better they aren't subscribed to me, right? Okay, so let's get to the comic. I think that's one thing. I talk for 20 minutes, and then I start looking at the comics, and then I notice that average view, 3 minutes. You know, people say, fuck this, I'm going on to the next person showing off their slabs. Slabs, indeed. Here on the Grottu Orloff Network, 2 things: Grottu Orloff, Dr. Grottu Orloff, Professor Dr. President-elect Dr. Pepper, Dr. Orloff. Thanks. God damn. What's worse, CGC or the CCP? Chinese Communist Party, or the people that permanently create a condition where you can never read your comic books again because they're forever encased in plastic. I don't like that. And then they create terminology that just confuses and causes people to argue. I watched a program last night that was fascinating. People were talking about cameos versus first appearances. And of course, Hulk 180 is Wolverine's first appearance and not just a cameo, because I, Grottu Orloff, own Hulk 180 and don't own 181. So to me, it's that's the one that should be the valuable one. And actually, I didn't even pay the 25 cents for it. My mother bought it for me because I was homesick in 4th grade. And she went and bought some comic books for me and brought them home and said, here. And one was Hulk 180, the first appearance, or cameo, depending on what side of the argument you're on, of Hulk. Of Wolverine. Oh, my goodness. Well, I've run out of boards, and I'm going to have to, when I get paid, buy some more boards. But for right now, I guess I'll throw bags on some of these, because I got like a whole box here that's pretty much unbagged. And I see there's some Silver Age in here that need to be pulled, because I'm trying to put all my Silver Age somewhere in these other boxes and separate it from Bronze Age. And it was something I thought it would be a great idea, and a year and a half later I realize That's harder than I thought. Look at this beautiful cover. Yeah. Let's see what's going on here. Oh shit, that's how I see what that is. Okay, so make a Silver Age pile here. This was voted by the Monster Times back in 1973 as one of the worst comic books of all time, like kind of like the Plan 9 from outer space of comics. And yes, this is Dracula, the origin of the new Dracula, but he's a superhero. And the idea on its face sounds great. It's like, Dracula is a superhero. What are you talking about? That sounds amazing. In a cheesy way, yeah. But the problem is, it's drawn by my archenemy, Tony Tallarico. In 6th grade, my mother bought me a book at the General, what was it called? I think it was called the General, no. What was the bookstore at the Forum Mall called? I think it was called either G. Sanders Books or General. I think it was the General Bookstore. She buys me this little softcover book about how to draw comic books. And, I thought, well, that's great. But unfortunately, it was put together by Tony Tallarico. And the artwork in there, he's showing me as a 6th grader how to draw comic books, but I could outdraw the guy even as a 6th grader. So it's like, here, we'll start the comic strip, and he does the first couple of panels, and then you finish it. And then I finished it with the most god-awful explosion of stuff that would make R. Crumb blush. I may have done that a little bit later. I don't think I did that. I may have done that later. And that book is somewhere on these shelves, and when I find it, I'm going to show it to you because you'll find it amusing. But anyway, I've opened up Dracula for you. It was from Dell Comics. I'm wondering if maybe I will remount this camera in a new location here. Maybe, so I'll use this little guy as backing for the camera. I'm going to experiment because I keep using the same camera angle, and it may be use this poodle. I'll use this poodle, I think. Will this help? Okay, yeah. I think this will be a better angle. A little bit more light. Okay, so Dracula. It needs to be closer, doesn't it? It's always experimentation here on the Grottu Orloff 24-hour-a-day network. Okay, that'll be better. So Dracula. You can see a little bit of the box, can't you? Okay, Dracula. Yes, Tony Tallarico's art is not inspiring. Yes, a bat flies through his, it's like, I'm ready. Jesus. We find some particularly egregious, yeah. Pow. Anyway, let's look at the splash page. What is happening? What have I drunk? What have I drunk? That's almost as bad as Build Back Better. I need to be quiet with that because I think that's why people are unsubscribing from me, because it's quite obvious that I find Joe Biden to be a degenerate scumbag that offends people. So I won't mention Jim. Oh, Jim is pretty bad too. That's his brother. But the worst, Hunter Biden. Boy, that guy. Yay, yay. Okay, let's see what else we can find here. I'll find stuff to entertain you, never fear. My personal radio station is what that is. Okay. So this is one of my... Let's see. Oh yeah, Secrets of Sinister House. This is my childhood copy, I'll have you know. Yeah. Oh wow, look at this. There was a big... I don't know if I have that one or not. Rudolph appeared in Treasury. No, DC didn't call them Treasury editions. Marvel did. DC called them collectors something or other. But anyway, they were giant comic books. And those Rudolph ones were reprints of comics from the 50s. In the 50s, DC put out a Rudolph comic every Christmas. Oh. Well, I guess I'll put a bag on it, but I don't have any boards. Unfortunately. Yeah. So I'll leave it unsealed, and then I'll come back with boards in a few days. I'll make a run to either Cosmic Comics in Grand Prairie or Duncanville Books in Duncanville, Texas. Yeah, I think this is a much better lighting situation. I wasn't happy with the other one. Secrets of Sinister House. Nice artwork. Yeah. Well, you know what would be really cool is if you guys that actually watch more than 2 or 3 minutes of my videos, if you would put comments. A lot of you do, but if you put comments down below, then I know, because there's maybe some way, but I'm not computer savvy. I kind of would like to know who are the people that subscribe to my channel. It just be kind of fun. But as far as I know, that's kind of a mystery. Sometimes it says new subscriber. I see that on my feed and it tells me their name, but I don't know if there's a place to go and just punch and get a list of everybody. Forgive these glasses. I got them for $1 at Dollar Tree. And they help me see things. Remember this ad? Get in here, Bill. I want to talk to you. You punched in 7 minutes late. I'm docking you an hour's pay, and it better not happen again or else. Oh yeah? I've got news for you, fucker. Mr. Bemis. I've got a new job with a real future at twice the money. How about that? Ha! Anybody be crazy to pay you that much? That's what you think. I've been learning electronics in my spare time at home from CIE. Now I can take my pick of good jobs. Yes. So the people that read this comic went on to become great electronic engineers. And it's John Wayne talking. Okay, so that's bagged. Let's see. Any other precious little jewels that need to be bagged? Well, reviews for Wonder Woman 1984 are starting to come out online, and the reviews seem to be good, but I saw this clip. It had some Japanese subtitles on it, so it must have been a clip released to Japan where Wonder Woman's in a mall, and she's saving some little girl from some kidnappers or someone that's trying to drop her from the second level of the mall down to the food court or something, off the ledge. And it seems so silly, and I don't know if that clip is actually in the movie, because then I saw this other clip that looked pretty cool. So and I want to trust Patty Jenkins, because the first Wonder Woman movie was so good. And I've got 2 copies of this. So maybe I'll even forgive her for, obviously the main villain is apparently not Cheetah, but this Donald Trump figure, people gotta always, knock Donald Trump and everything. Yeah, Spider-Man, Kazar. These are all my childhood comics. This is not stuff that I picked up later. And the reason these aren't bagged and boarded is I bagged them, probably in junior high school, and then I come back and the bags are all turning yellow and buckling, so I removed the bags, and then now I'm finally putting them back in bags. And now boards. When I was in junior high, people didn't really use boards. As I recall, some people did. They put them in the middle of the comic so you could see the front and back of the cover. I remember buying this. Just like it was yesterday, and we bought it at the PX. See, there's a stamp there. It's a circular stamp that says AAFES. It's American Army Air Force Exchange Service, I think. Yeah, so if you buy it at the PX, PX is like a big store, kind of like Target. It has everything, electronics, it's just everything, clothes, everything you could want, and it's on Army bases, and it's there for the soldiers and their wives or husbands and their children, and you don't have to pay tax and everything, and they always had comic books, back in the old days, and huge magazine racks. My parents went there all the time because my dad was in the Army. And then there's another store on the Army bases called the Commissary, and that's like a grocery store, and that's where everything's real cheap. These aren't in the proper order. Okay, so 15, 19, 24. Oh, they're in all crazy order. Can you imagine that? It's the same songs that were playing yesterday when I was up here. Okay, this one's got a bit of a roll. This I remember buying from the spinner rack in Hampton, Virginia in 2nd grade. And I remember all this. I was staring at these panels for who knows how long. I always love that ad there at the top. Werewolf by Night. Yeah, this actually may be the first time I bought a Spider-Man comic, but I was buying it for the werewolf. I didn't really realize how great Spider-Man was. I was buying horror comics when I wasn't buying Dennis the Menace, and I was buying horror comics, and so it wasn't until I guess it was 3rd grade that Marvel Treasury Edition #2 came out, big giant sized comic, and it was Fantastic Four, and it had the Galactus trilogy in it, and a lot of cool stuff like that, and reading that made me realize that these comics are great, these superhero comics. So then another time I was sick. I remember my mom bought me a Spider-Man comic because she just buy random comics off the newsstand. She didn't really know what I was into, and she bought me Man-Thing #1, and I would know it by the cover, Spider-Man 120 something, and so once I saw how great the Fantastic Four were, I went back and read the superhero comics, the few that I had, and then I started buying Marvel superheroes and got Origins of Marvel comics for Christmas and started getting all the Mego dolls and all that. King the Conqueror is becoming sought after because he will be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe coming up soon. So I better send this off to CGC and get it slabbed. Oh boy. Actually, I saw, there was a great video. Comic Crypt Keeper of Castle Hills did a amazing video where he was showing off comics that he'd bought that were inspired by things he'd seen in my collection and my videos, and that was really cool. I didn't see that until last night about midnight. I was laying in bed watching that, and he showed off this issue. And he was explaining how the cat later became Tigra, or as I called her in elementary school, Tigra, because I figured it was pronounced Tigra, but I guess it's probably Tigra. What do I know? I actually have 2 copies of it here. I was always into these female cat type characters, Catwoman and the cheetah, and when this character later becomes Tigra, it reminded me a lot of the Hammer horror movie Vampire Circus that had a tiger woman in it. Okay, still playing that copywritten music on Radio Grottu. Okay, midnight. It's midnight, the witching hour. This is a comic that, it looks great, and I only bought a few issues, but it was like, yeah, I mean, the artwork's really good in it. It's an independent comic, but I felt like I was like coming in the middle of the story and didn't, but maybe it's something I should go back and collect. I don't know. Maybe you guys know something about this. I just remember it was really popular back in the 80s from Dark Horse. Oh, here's some more Silver Age. It needs to be bagged and boarded. Sorry if I'm in a kind of a downbeat mood today. I don't know. It's not that I'm not really in a bad mood. Well, I don't know. Maybe I am. I think I'm just a little tired today. So, I may not be my usual jovial self. But, man's gotta do what a man's gotta do, which is to sleeve their comic books, motherfucker. Okay. This is in shit shape. At least it's loose at one staple. But, just a damn shame that TV show missed the opportunity to make it more like the comic instead of, what it became. But, oh well, I was excited in the first episode. Wow, they're going to have flying cars. But, they just didn't, I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what they're smoking. Oh, I can play the New Zoo Review theme. Remember the New Zoo Review? You gotta be my age to remember. Everyone had a crush on her. Now, why was the frog almost as big as a hippo? It's a guy I haven't talked to him in years. Went on to become a rocket scientist at NASA. And I remember him pointing out in a very Harvey Kurtzman-like way. Because Harvey Kurtzman would always point out just the inanity of life and pop culture. And I think Harvey Kurtzman, if he had ever done a parody of the New Zoo Review, which was a show where human actors interact with people dressed as animals, an owl, a frog, and a hippo. The theme song, the opening theme, it's a very important point that they stress that every day is a different show, and he thought that was hilarious. And anyway, I think it was just because they needed something that rhymed with Emmy Joe. Well, she had go-go boots and everything, and her husband Doug, I think, were like a real life couple that made children's shows, and Doug looked like someone that definitely would vote for Joe Biden. But there's some outtakes from that show. If you look online on YouTube, where the animals are cursing and saying "fuck you" and all this, and okay, so that no ducks thing, I'm gonna file that with Undergrounds, even though I think it's really a kind of ground level comic. I'm making a separate box for Underground comics. I mentioned that to you before, and this would be. Oh, it's funny. I was watching this that show I was telling you about last night, where they're I think it's No Faces Chat. I think it's what it's called, but they were showing. They were talking about when you have these promotional comics that come out, like or these like a news magazine like this. If a hero appears for the first time in some little promotional giveaway, is that considered their first appearance? And anyway, they were showing I think it's called DC Sampler #3 with a Fred Hembeck cover, and that's apparently when John Constantine, who I've never read that comic, first appeared in that, and I was just showing that yesterday. It's like, I wonder if people collect this, and apparently that's like a $30, $40 comic. This has an interview in it with Van Williams, this thing. Van Williams was from here locally in Fort Worth. Went to Arlington Heights High School, same high school that John Denver went to. Wow, same music as yesterday. I feel like it's Groundhog Day. And if you watch these Grottu videos, you might start feeling like you're watching someone living Groundhog Day, because this whole pandemic thing. Okay, wow, what the hell is that? Okay, this is 50s science fiction comic reprints. Yeah, for this. From Malibu Graphics. I guess I won't put that in Underground. It's not Underground. Okay. These things I'll put definitely in the Underground because they're not appropriate. Okay, I pulled some. Damn, I've got like 2 sets of these Bronze Age alphabetized, and I gotta combine them. Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man. Planet Comics. This is a great Dave Stevens cover. And another great Dave Stevens cover on Jungle Comics. They were reviving these titles from the Fiction House line. Plastic Man. Oh, well, I've been promising to show you these. I'll rebag this. This is my actual childhood copy. It's one of the things that made me what I am today. Was picking this off a spinner rack, and it went with me through the journey from Virginia to San Antonio in a little satchel. PLOP was a weird humor magazine from DC Comics, and it was weird. One thing that was weird, it had no advertising. Bernie writes in horror stories, but there were they had the horror host. They had it was horror, but it was funny horror. Mad Magazine started as a comic book, but the first couple of issues of Mad, Mad #1 and I think 2, it was kind of a horror humor comic, and then it started taking shots at all the comics and culture around it, Superman and everything. But it has Sergio Aragonés is like one of the main artists in this, and you got the horror host from the DC horror line appear here, and Sergio Aragonés does a story, and of course I loved him from Mad Magazine, and it's just a great comic. And it looks like I have 2 copies of the first issue, but I'm gonna rebag it because that bag's getting a little wavy. PLOP, for a good number of the issues in its run, had Basil Wolverton art on the covers. Here's a copy I bought later on because my first one was a little bit worn from being read over and over and over again, but I still treated it pretty well. But it was something I loved, and I think I've gotten a new copy. This is my childhood copy, but I think I have a new copy of it that I got at Duncanville Books some point in the last couple of years. This also has an older bag, and I'm taking that off and replacing it. I probably will put it in My Light when I'll be getting some My Lights from Night Tiger Comics, because I won a contest, and that was one of the highlights of my week. We had a house guest that was staying here and really annoying me. I was telling you about that, and now he called. I was about to do a show, and he called and said, "You mind if I come by? I'm in town. You mind if I come by and just take a quick shower, and I'll be real quick?" And then I said, "Okay," and he came, took the shower, and left. And that's one of the reasons I'm kind of in a down. I think he's probably homeless now. I think he's probably living in his car, which is a much nicer car. He's got like a brand new car, and I've got like a real old car that's paid for. But if he could just sell, he's got a job. If he just sells that car and gets an older car that still runs, then he could get an apartment. But I don't like to think that. So I don't think it's. I don't want to blame myself for making him homeless. I mean, that's not my fault. This was a highlight of Christmas morning, 1975. When I was in 5th grade, I got this $6 Million Man doll, and he lifted this, and I don't think I still have that engine. I don't know where it is, but I still got him, and he used to be able to roll up the skin on his arm like you were rolling up the sleeve of a shirt, and you'd see his electronic parts, and you could take them out. Last time I just tried about a month ago I rolled up his sleeve, and then there was his flesh, but it had turned a different color, and you couldn't roll it up anymore. The $6 Million Man flesh has a expiration date. Yeah, I love that show. Everybody, all the kids did that were my age in the mid 70s. Yeah, he just was a cool guy. Yeah, the guy that used to be in westerns, Lee Majors, and then he was married to the heartthrob of the era, Farrah Fawcett Majors, because she was married to Lee Majors. I never really had that much of a crush on her. Jenny Agutter, to me, same era. That was a far prettier woman to me, and they were both in Logan's Run. But Jenny Agutter was far. Okay, I can't play the Ramones because copyright, I'm sure. All right, back to PLOP. PLOP number 4. And like a gold key comic, like a warped gold key comic from the 60s, it has the same image on the back, but without any text over it. And then this issue of PLOP, well, this one really needs to be on the back because it's so wide. Isn't that amazing? PLOP number 5. These were some warped comics. In between this and Mad Magazine and Discovering the National Lampoon and just, I don't know, all these influences at once, or a conflagration of influences, wacky packages, and what else warped me at that era? What else got me? Yeah, The Who has definitely got copyright, I'm sure. Well, and then I was exposed to 50s and 60s music because the American Graffiti soundtrack that my brother bought, so I became aware of this great music from the past. And the music of the 70s wasn't bad, as bad as you think. They're in the early 70s, and then my oldest brother had an 8-track of the Beach Boys' Endless Summer, and boy, did that sell me on the music of, surf music. And so I don't know, I had a lot of great influences that came along in my childhood. And PLOP was just one of the greatest things in the world. And I was watching ETA Nick on YouTube, and he was saying, I just got to get rid of all these plops. I don't have any use for them. And maybe it just didn't hit him the same way, or maybe he wasn't exposed to this when he was that age. Maybe that's part of it. Although I think if this was coming out today, I'd be just as apeshit over it. I don't know what the ETA stands for. Is it estimated time of arrival, Nick? I was listening to these Wonder Woman 1984 reviews online, and there are these people that review movies on YouTube that they just keep popping up in my feed. That they have a Batman getting bats shitting on the Batmobile. Highbrow humor. This one guy named John Campea kind of annoys me, but I hate to talk badly about people. But he's nothing compared to this woman. She reviews movies, and apparently she's written comic books. Because I looked her up to figure out what the fuck is this thing. I can't stand. I guess she's a pretty enough woman, but I can't get past this voice. It's one of the worst voices I've ever heard in my life. Her name is Grace Randolph, and it's a cool name and everything. But you hear her talk, and it's like, God damn, what? Get across. Get back, Satan. And she's like,
Wonder Woman 1984 is so inspirational.
It's a New York accent, but it's worse than a New York accent. It's like one of the worst things I've ever heard in my life. It's just nightmarish. Makes you want to pull your ears off. Plop number 10. This is fucking... I'm just now seeing this. Like, if you cover it up like that, like, if you cover... well, but it's got that good old... Or does it? There it is. It's approved by the Comics Code, so it can't possibly be offensive. Oh, did I even look inside this? This is in pristine mint because I certainly took care of it. Here's Sergio Aragonis doing a superhero parody. The very last issue of Plop has a friend of mine's letter in it, and I haven't gotten my plops out since I met him. I've known him about 11, 12 years, so it's been a while since I pulled this box out. In fact, I'm going to go ahead to the last issue, which is 24. And it's like you see how the mighty have fallen. You don't have the Bernie Wrightson cover anymore, and then you got this obnoxious UPC code. I notice on newer comics they make it thinner instead of this huge box, because when that box started appearing on comic covers, it really mars the look of them. Let me find the letters page. He's a fellow record collector. Come on. Here's the CBS Saturday morning lineup. Damn, that's a shame about Bill Cosby. I'm seeing Fat Albert was on in reruns at that point, and you know, now everything great that Sergio Aragonis' take on Wonder Woman. Everything great that Bill Cosby did, and he did a lot of great stuff like I Spy and his comedy records. It's like now it's all tarnished, and he's in prison. Okay. There's someone in Winchester, Here's that letter page. Maybe it wasn't the very last issue. Maybe it was the second to last issue. Let me put my glasses on and see what I can find here. Someone in Michigan, someone in Massachusetts, New Jersey, Ohio, California, Powhatan, Virginia, Montreal, Pennsylvania, New York. Okay, so let's look in the issue before this. Maybe it was Plop 23, the second to last issue. Oh, man. So, I just can't get over hearing my voice coming out of the radio. Ontario, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey. Then they have a fake letter from the Swamp Thing. Maybe it's here. There's another page. California, Canada, man. I know he's an honest person. Why would anyone lie about the fact that they had a letter published in Plop? You guys ever had anything published, letters published in a comic? They don't have letter pages anymore, do they, in comics? I don't know. I don't read many modern comics. I remember he said it was the last issue. Okay, so we'll go to the third to last issue. Maybe he said it was one of the last issues. And it's still another one with a cover that's very lackluster. But it's still great. Okay. They have a Basil Wolverton guy on the interior, but they don't put him on the cover. What are they thinking? Oh, here we go. Illinois, Vermont, Middle Earth. San Antonio, Ken Kimball, San Antonio, Texas. Dear Plop, I've been reading Plop for some time now, and I have, with my magnificent powers of observation, listed all the good qualities of your magazine, and there's nothing there. That's hilarious. Oh, here it is. It's here. At the very top left. Dear Plop. Yeah. First, you give us a no ads comic bi-monthly. Then you give us a monthly mag with ads. Then you put it back to bi-monthly still with ads. What gives? Jimmy Holcomb, Mesquite, Texas. Their response to Jimmy is, what gives is that we need the ads to pay for the art. But as of last issue, trust Plop to announce its greatest news scoops after they happen. Plop is going to be a bi-monthly with ads, but with more material than ever before. Of course, we do have to change a bit more, but we feel it's a bargain compared to the possibility of a 30-cent price for 17 Plop-ish pages. So, yeah, he wrote a letter of complaint trying to get it to return to its original format. Because, yeah, Plop had fallen pretty far. He was right. That's what you got to do. You got to be an activist. Yeah. Speaking up for all of us. Okay, let's go back to the early days of Plop. Plop number 11. Oh, and by this point, this is when the ads started. That's what he was referring to. Yeah, they have ads in here, although the ads at the time were obnoxious, but now it's cool looking at the old ads because they weren't old then, so they were annoying. It's like anything, once anything gets old enough, it becomes fascinating. You know, you record a television show on VHS and you aren't home to cut out the commercials, to pause when the commercials come on, and then that VHS sits around for 20, 30 years, and then you put it into a VCR that's working, and it's like, wow, the show, I can get the show, the complete set of this whole series on DVD, but these commercials are amazing. You know, wow, that's a commercial for the 1980 Flash Gordon, or Heavy Metal, or, you know, Elvira commercial or something, and it's like, at the time, no one thought of it as being remarkable, but you know, an old Dr. Pepper can. Let it sit around in your attic for 50 years, and now it doesn't look like a Dr. Pepper can of today, and it's fascinating, and some clod like me will pay dollars for it to put on a shelf. So, that's how it goes. You know, the thing is, I don't know if you can get a sense of how small this cup is. This was from 7-Eleven. This today, no one would. This is like the size of a Dixie cup. This is compared to the size of your hand. Let me give you a sense of scale. It's tiny, and now people, when they go to 7-Eleven, they expect to get something that's like 40 ounces. And it's just showed you know, you get an old popcorn box from the 50s. You know, you see it in an antique store, and it's cool, like Mr. Delish, and he's got, you know, little cartoon guys on it. And the box of popcorn is tiny. People were not as gluttonous as we are today back then, and that's why, like I've lost a few pounds. I just got on the scale earlier today. It might have come from the fact that I think I had food poisoning last night, and that may have purged my system a bit. Too much information. PLOP. This is PLOP number 13. For those of you looking to seek these out. PLOP number 14. I've got indigestion. I tried some pumpkin pie Pop-Tarts. They're terrible. But I tried them because I was starving. And
it's what makes America great.
Okay. So that may have been the last of the Basil Wolvertons for a while. Because then, oh cool, but now you got Wally Wood. So both Wood and Basil Wolverton contributed to Mad, and this has ancestry in Mad. Yeah, it's like now these ads were annoying at the time, but now they're just cool. Ads for kung fu and then these this is how you got old comics back then, because you didn't really have comic book stores unless you lived in L.A. or something. Yeah, Robert Bell was, and then there was another guy named, what was his name? I never ordered from them, but a buddy of mine got a lot of his old comics from Robert Bell. And Robert Bell, I think, was the first guy I think he kind of invented these plastic sleeve, the idea to put comics in plastic sleeves. My friend donated to me, I think, Avengers number 11 through like 1975. I already had some of the issues, but not many, and so he just gifted it to me because he says, well, I'm going to keep my Spider-Man run, but here you can have all my Avengers. And he was downsizing, and he knew it was a good home, and a lot of them were still in their Robert Bell sleeves, and I kept a few, and I noticed, was it because it's a historical item, because it has Robert Bell and his address, and I don't know who it was that saved him. It might have been AFTA Comics, Alan of AFTA Comics, or it could have been Captain Strangelove. But the thing they did is how do you keep a bag? How do you want to just keep a bag? Like, so what they did is they put a white board, a blank white board, into the sleeve, and just put it, then you can preserve the Robert Bell bag. And I did that with, I think, one or two of them, but I didn't think I needed to preserve like 80 Robert Bell bags, but maybe I'll regret that someday. But they're kind of nasty looking, because it kind of turned a little bit of yellowish. Kind of looks a little nauseating. This is a Wally Wood cover, but honestly, it was never one of my favorites. Oh, but then the next, that's issue 16. The next issue, they're back to Basil Wolverton. Oh, I gotta turn that down. That'll get me a copyright strike, and then this whole episode will be for naught. Okay. That song mentions comic books, and I don't know, it's a song, it's nostalgic for me, but you probably think I'm an idiot for listening to that song. PLOP 18. It's Basil Wolverton, and it's got a photo. It's got a photo in the background. That's cool. I don't know who was the first to do that. Was it Jack Kirby to mix photographs? Use a photograph as your background. Wally Wood. This surprises me because usually, even then, in the 70s as a kid, I would make sure I got a comic that was perfectly aligned, where the color goes all the way to the spine, you know. But maybe this was the best one I could find at the spinner rack. Maybe they were all that printed that way. Ooh, this could be your head, says Vincent Price. I sigh because I used to have that shrunken head kit, and I gave that away. I need to get a new one, or well, it won't be new, but it'll be a replacement. Ooh, this is a band called Girl Trouble. It's a cool, you can find it on YouTube. Look up Girl Trouble, and I think it's called Batman House Mix or something like that. PLOP number 20. Okay, then I'll bag the giant size editions that closed out the series. It's on a 45 if you want to get the original record. I don't know, maybe on eBay or something. They're a band out of Tacoma. The guy that gave me the Avengers comics is friends with this band, Girl Trouble. I think there's a documentary about them too. This is PLOP 23. PLOP number 24, and that finishes out the run. And I try to keep these episodes like right around an hour, or a little less than an hour. But that same song played yesterday. That's Debbie Harry, a song called Comic Books. This is AC Comics reprinted some of these 50s stuff. This is something you don't see very often. I wonder if this has any value at all. Pretty Girl Sketchbook with these artists. Yeah. Prez, Promethea, Pulp Action, The Punisher miniseries. I had this whole series. Is this valuable? And then I found I had the Wolverine miniseries that I think, you know, where he's like kind of come here, and he's got the, you know, with the, I have that in perfect condition, so I imagine that's worth something. Yeah, I have all this stuff in perfect condition. It's just got to be bagged and boarded. Oh, they're out of order though. That's number 3, and this is number 2. Look at that neck. Whew. That Netflix Punisher series wasn't too bad. I don't think I ever finished the 2nd season though. This is Puntella Prim, the Sexy Super Spy. And this is number 5 in that series. This is like reprints of stuff from 50s. This is reprinted from something. Yeah. It's old stuff, but it's not appropriate to be showing you here in this format. Oh, this was a really good magazine, Pure Images. It was put out by Greg Theakston, who also was doing the Betty Pages. But yeah, if you don't have this, seek it out. It's great. L. Ron Hubbard had on the back. Yeah, this issue you would love if you're into monsters, and this was about Ren and Stimpy. This is what I remember of the 90s comics that look like this. This is Purgatory. It's a Devil Girl comic. You know, it's this kind of stuff. And I think I have an action figure of her or something. So the newsstand was nothing but this stuff for a while. Okay, and then this has got to be put elsewhere because this is an underground comic. This is the kind of thing that's sold at head shops, and I was going to sleeve these, box these separately. And then this definitely needs to go in my other boxes because I've got like wow, this is Golden Age or maybe Atomic Age. Oh shit! Scared the shit out of me. Purple Claw. Put that there. Wow, I didn't even know I had that. Definitely will go on my future wall. Man, what is going on here? What nightmare. Shit. Okay. Wow, there's some cool stuff in here. These are Wounded Wonder comics. I gotta pull these out. Shit. You remember this comic, Quack? It's just, it's funny animal stuff. But it has some great artists in it. It's kind of like a ancestor of Rocket Raccoon kind of thing. And then here's Quack number 6. Yeah, this is I think there's a story behind this. Yeah, it's like it was a Howard the Duck kind of thing. What was the story on this? There was a war between Steve. What is it? Oh shit. The same shit happened yesterday. That inappropriate commercial came on and I had to stop it. There was some kind of copyright mess between the creator of Howard the Duck and Marvel, Steve Gerber, right? And this looks like it might have been an unpublished Howard the Duck story that he kept for himself, because I don't know, Quack was some kind of, and I think Destroyer Duck was too, another comic that was part of their fight for the rights to that character. Here's a cool comic, Racket Squad in action. Cool stuff. But this is going to be too big to put in these bags, so I'll put that over there. Rat Patrol. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and close this video out because I'm in a bad mood, and I'll probably be in a better mood a little bit later on. Plus, it's hot in here. It's freezing outside, but I think we got the heat on too high. So I will close out, and I will be back either later today or either later today or first thing. No, I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow. So I guess I'll either later today or well, I couldn't do it tomorrow evening because my eyes will be dilated. So I wouldn't want that bright light in my eyes over there. So if I'll be back at some point, probably sooner than you want me to be back. Be seeing you.